everyone! Today I'm going to talk about revising your draft for your personal memoir based on feedback from the peer editing process and turning in your final copy. So, over the past couple of days, you've been working with a peer editor. This peer editor filled out 2 rubrics for you. The first rubric was the paper skeleton rubric, and this paper skeleton rubric went through all of the paragraphs, the 9 paragraphs that should have been completed based on the outline provided. Each of these criterion was 5 points. So for example, if you had a really strong, extremely detailed, attention-grabbing opening as your first paragraph, then you would have gotten a 5. If your details that set the scene maybe could use more attention, perhaps you got a 3 on that. So your peer editor went in and filled in a score, eventually, out of 50 for your memoir and emailed you your rubric. So at this point, you should be taking a look at the rubric, looking at the specific paragraphs where you lost points and your editor said you could put in more detail, and you're going to revise your document. So if I am missing some points here for event leading up to the main action, I'm going to go back to that paragraph. I'm going to think about what I can add to beef it up and to add more detail and make it more descriptive and entertaining for the reader, and I'm going to go in and do that. No one's rubric should be 100%. You should not be receiving a rubric that's 50 out of 50, everything's perfect, because that's not accurate and that's not helpful for revising. So you should have a section in there that your editor provided feedback and said should be, beefed up. The next rubric that you guys worked with was the stylistic author weave-ins. So these are color-coded in the draft, and the rubric is also color-coded. So for this one, your peer editor went in and looked for, okay, crack it open technique. 2 people, 2 objects, 1 setting. Went in, looked at it, if it was there, present, and it looked good, gave you a 5 out of 5. If one of these stylistic author writing techniques was a mystery to you, you were looking at it, you're like, I don't remember this, I don't know what this is, the rubric has a link to the YouTube video I created for each one of these stylistic writing techniques. So you could click on the link, go to the YouTube video, watch the YouTube video, get acquainted with the stylistic weave-in, and then go back and revisit the rubric. So you should also have this from your editor today, and you should be looking at, okay, I lost a point for shocking imagery and comparisons. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to add that weave-in so it's present. Or maybe I had some feedback here that my dialogue needs reformatted. Maybe I didn't tab down to the next line for each change in speaker. Maybe I didn't end in commas. Maybe I didn't vary my verbs. If that's the case, I'm going back in and based on the feedback from my editor, I'm making revisions to my Google Doc. Okay, so once you have received both of these rubrics from your editor, you determined the sections that need to be enhanced, you went into the draft, you beefed up those sections, you added descriptive details, you maybe took a look at formatting again, whatever you had to do. Once you made revisions based on your editor's feedback, then you're ready to turn in your final copy. And I'm going to show you how to turn in your final copy right now. Open up your Google Doc, your finalized, revised personal memoir. The first thing I want you to do in the upper left-hand corner here is change the date that you have to be an accurate due date. So we are turning this in today, the 23rd of October, 2020, so please update that date there. Then, if you did not put a title on your document and you had it just as title as a placeholder, please go back in and make sure that your document has a title. Now we're ready to send in our finalized, revised personal memoir. In the upper right-hand corner, click on the 3 dots. You're going to click on Share and Export, and you're going to select Send a Copy. Please make sure it's a PDF. It must be a PDF that you are submitting to me on Canvas. Hit OK. Next up, you are going to select the Canvas student app right here. Boop. And you're going to select course. You're scrolling down, you're clicking on Writer's Workshop. For the assignment, we're going to click that, and you will put in there finalized personal memoir, and you're going to turn it in. Once you've done that and you've submitted a PDF version of your finalized draft on Canvas, we're also going to be putting this into our portfolio for Writer's Workshop. So for the portfolio for Writer's Workshop, we do not want to have all of the highlights throughout our text because we just want to focus on our story. So what I'm going to have you do before we copy and paste this into our portfolio is I'm going to have you select all of the text of your memoir. You'll scroll down, and then you're going to click on the highlighter tool, and you're going to select no color. That way we're taking all of the color codes off of the draft because we don't want all of that inside of our portfolio. Again, selecting all of the text, clicking on the highlighter tool, and select no color at the very top. Okay, so now it's just a perfect paper with nothing distracting on it. All right, so we're not going to copy the header over. We're just going to start with our title. So hit select. You're going to select your entire memoir. This is only a piece of mine, but you're going to go and select your entire one. Hit copy. Hit the check, and then we're going to go back. And then you should have in your Google Docs Writer's Workshop Portfolio. Writer's Workshop Portfolio. And in here, you guys have your Modernizing Classic American Poetry, Project 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to go underneath of that. Bold. And yep, we are capitalizing this. So double click on the keyboard. This is Project 2, personal memoir. Okay, let's put one more space between these guys. Okay, we're going to click after that, return, and hold down, hit paste. So now that should be in there too. So now in your Writer's Workshop portfolio, you have your Modernizing Classic American Poetry poem, and now you also have your memoir in here as well. We are going to continue adding our writing projects into the portfolio, and at the very end, you're going to turn in your portfolio for a portfolio grade, and I'm going to print your portfolio for you so that you can keep it and take it with you and have it forever. A sample of your 8th grade writing. It's gonna be awesome.